In 1933, the German city of Leipzig was an absolute powerhouse. 713,000 people lived here, moving through dense blocks of classical architecture. At the time, locals and urban planners alike easily placed it in the same weight class as Frankfurt, Lyon, or Barcelona. But take a look at this chart tracking the city's residents over the 20th century. Following the devastation of World War II and the massive economic fallout after the collapse of East Germany, you can see a relentless plunge in population. By 1999, Leipzig had bottomed out at roughly 490,000 residents. That kind of exodus leaves a heavy physical scar on a landscape. Planners were staring down 60,000 uninhabitable apartments and 800,000 square meters of dead, decaying commercial space. The sheer volume of rotting infrastructure meant Leipzig was facing an existential threat. The physical environment itself was dying off, block by block. Traditional urban planning relies on a very specific set of rules. A healthy city is supposed to be dense and compact, with every available square foot of real estate generating some sort of commercial value. So in 2003, local planners did something highly unusual. They officially stopped looking at Leipzig through that traditional lens and gave the city a new diagnosis. They called it the Perforated City. This diagram illustrates exactly what they meant. Instead of viewing those dark, empty lots as signs of terminal decline, planners started treating these voids as blank canvases, unique competitive assets that other crowded European capitals simply didn't have. They realized it was entirely futile to try and force the city back to its former density. Instead, they would deliberately embrace the lack of density, turning those holes in the map into sprawling green spaces and open, non-commercial zones. By officially leaning into its own emptiness, Leipzig stopped trying to rebuild a ghost of its past. The local government essentially gave itself permission to write an entirely new playbook for how a city survives. That new playbook relied heavily on the locals. There's a long-standing cultural attitude here known as Leipziger Freiheit, or Leipzig freedom. It's a habit among the citizenry to take autonomous action to fix their own problems, without sitting around waiting for the state to step in. All over the city center, university students and artists started taking matters into their own hands. They moved into the massive abandoned brick mills and empty 19th century houses, setting up self-organized living spaces, clubs, and art galleries. In almost any other city, these illegal occupants would be immediately evicted. Instead, the municipal government partnered with them. They helped create an association to legalize the squatters through a program called Wächterhäusers, or guardian houses. This flowchart breaks down Wächterhäuser contracts. Citizens get massive space for zero rent. In exchange, their presence fulfills a duty to the owner, acting as guardians. Simply living there prevents vandalism. Over a 5-year lease, active tenancy saves historic architecture from the wrecking ball. By transforming illegal squatters into official guardians, the city successfully crowdsourced the physical preservation of its inner city to its most creative residents. But cheap rent for artists doesn't run a municipal economy. During this exact same period in the 2000s, the local administration was dealing with a crippling unemployment rate, hovering around 20%. To solve this, politicians relied on a governance habit called the Leipziger model. City council members routinely ignored strict political party lines, choosing instead to form highly flexible, case-by-case majorities to get things done. This agile political culture allowed the mayor to bypass standard bureaucratic gridlock and fast-track massive operational decisions as top executive priorities, and they moved fast. The city rapidly approved and built massive suburban commercial sites to land global players like BMW, Porsche, DHL, and Amazon. These two distinct forces were operating simultaneously. Ruthless corporate expansion was rapidly creating thousands of jobs on the city outskirts, while cheap, citizen-led culture was fostering extreme vibrancy back in the historic center. It functioned as a highly effective pincer movement. By actively solving its economic deficits on the edges and its cultural deficits in the core, Leipzig finally woke up from decades of stagnation. As this chart demonstrates, the recovery was explosive. Between 2011 and 2017, the population surged, adding roughly 10,000 new residents to the city every single year. Today, Leipzig doesn't look like a perforated wasteland. It is a highly desirable, densely packed, and thriving European boomtown. But that rapid influx of people brought the city to a critical turning point. The explosive growth has entirely consumed the empty plots and abandoned houses that once defined the perforated city. The very strategy that saved the city relied on an absolute abundance of empty space. By completely succeeding, Leipzig effectively destroyed its most valuable resource. Now, the city is experiencing the painful immediate consequences of density. They are facing severe housing shortages, skyrocketing rents, and the aggressive commercial development that gentrifies the very creative class that kept the city alive. That famously agile political culture is fracturing. Politicians are clashing over highly contentious, ideologically driven debates about how to handle the sudden housing crisis, bringing the old flexible majorities to a halt. You can practically feel the physical squeeze. The once abundant empty plots are rapidly vanishing, swallowed by modern development pressures until every block is filled. The optimism of the early 2000s has been replaced by administrative gridlock. Today's urban planners have lost their unifying reference point. They no longer agree on what successful growth is actually supposed to look like. Leipzig proves a profound paradox in urban development. Weaponizing emptiness can miraculously resurrect a dying seed, but curing that abandonment inevitably forces a society to face the agonizing, complex burdens of managing its own success.